Assalamu alaikum dear viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Han Lecture. In the previous lecture we discussed different characterization and the summary of the modern novel A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. In this lecture we will discuss major themes in the novel A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. So let's begin. Catholicism. The church is perhaps the greatest constant on Stephen and merit its own entry. The teaching of the church run contrary to Stephen's independent spirit and intellect. His sensitivity to beauty and human body are not at all suitable to the rigid Catholicism in which he was raised. But the church continues to exert some small hold on him. Although he eventually became an unbeliever, he continued to have some fear that Catholic Church might be correct. Despite his fears, he eventually chooses to live independently and without constraint, even if the decision send him to hell. The next major theme we have escape. Escape is a natural complement to the theme of entrapment and constraint. Joyce depicts escape metaphorically by book's most important symbol and illusion. The mythical artificial Daedalus. Daedalus is not at all an Irish name. Joyce took the name from mythical inventor who escaped from his Iceland prison by constructing wings and flying to his freedom. Stephen too will eventually escape from the Iceland prison of Ireland. Independence. Independence. Closely related to the above theme, Stephen's move toward independence is one of the central moments of the novel. When we first encounter Stephen as a young boy, his athletics and ineptitude and sensitive nature make him an easy target for bullies. He is a rather shy and awkward boy. The contrast with the university student Stephen could not be greater. The older Stephen is fiercely independent, willing to risk eternal damnation to pursue his destiny. He is not cowed by anyone and he will pursue life as an artist no matter what the cost. The next theme beauty, sensitivity, and imagination. What began as sensitivity and imagination in the child Stephen eventually evolved into a near obsessive contemplation of beauty and mechanics of art. Even as a child, young Stephen is an extraordinarily imaginative and sensitive boy. Eventually, these strong but unarticulated feelings take shape as a passion for the art. In chapter 5, Stephen has developed a theory of aesthetics that is quite sophisticated for a university student. He thinks carefully and thoroughly about beauty and the power of art, and knows that he can do nothing else but pursue life of a poet and writer. The next theme we have identity. Portrait of the artist is ultimately the story of a search for true identity. We know from the title that portrait protagonist's fate is to become an artist, but we still follow the emotional suspense of his period of uncertainty and confusion. Our hero struggles with the sense that there is some great destiny waiting for him, but he has difficulty perceiving what it is. His constant feeling of difference and increasing alienation show that he sees himself as a someone marked by a part of outside society. Speaking of society, Joyce also questioned the value of Irish national identity in a country on the brink of revelation. Transformation. First, it is related to the slow shift from childhood to adulthood. Stephen has to pass through distinct phases before he is an independent adult. Secondly, transformation is linked to the process of artistic development. His intellectual transformation helped form his identity as an artist and shape his future writing. The proof of this Joyce himself, after all, this story partially stems from his own experience. Youth. One might guess the title that portrait of the artist as a young man has something to do with youth. This book is a classic coming of age story that allows us to follow the development of the main character. Man character's consciousness from childhood to adulthood. The book as a whole is meditation on the process of growing up. One of its truly great accomplishment in this almost scientific precision with which it depicts the protagonist's changing mind and body. Dissatisfaction. Many of the events of this novel are seen through a haze of murky discontent. Joyce possesses dissatisfaction as a necessity of the developing artist. Our protagonist's unhappiness with his setting, his family, and most of all himself are fundamental to his eventual transformation from observant child to blooming writer until he realizes that his vocation is to become a writer. He feels aimless, alone, and uncertain. However, we get the feeling that he could never arrive at this conclusion without undergoing his period of profound dissatisfaction. It is this lingering sense of malcontent that forces Joyce's character to confront his personal anxieties and uncertainties in order to get past them. Religion. Marx famously wrote the religion is a kind of drug constructed to keep the masses buoyant and contented, achieving their third comfortably and not confronting the true nature of life. Joyce delivers a similarly cynical and unflinchingly critical picture of religion in Portrait of the Artist. Our hero, albeit in a markedly uncow-like and intensely cerebral fashion, also latches on to religion as a system of definite explanation. However, religion is rejected as a solution to life's unanswerable question, both by Joyce and by Stephen, who realize that life is not that simple, and that the strict rules and regulation of the church cannot explain everything. The book exemplifies that no religion, declared Catholic or otherwise, can provide universal solution, and furthermore, that dogma often limit the possibility of human accomplishment. Literature and writing. Literature and writing provide the underlying backbone of meaning that draws this whole text together. This theme play a fundamental role in the lives of both the fictional Stephen and the real Joyce, even beyond the obvious fact that both of them are writers. The idea of art as a calling becomes central to the eventual understanding of spirituality in the text, since observing and creating objects of beauty is a fundamental part of experiencing the life that Joyce describes. The role of the writer, as it appears here, is to shape language the way a craftsman might shape wood or clay. This alignment of literature to fine art is extremely important. Through his work, Joyce attempts to demonstrate that the novel, a relatively young literary form, is as important and valid as any other form of art.